All right, what do we have here? Now we have the Nation newspaper. It says jam to new institutions shun illegal admissions. 2027 PDP governors disown Atiku and coalition merger. Portable remanded in Kwara Correctional Facility after failing to meet bail condition. By the way, Portable is a Nigerian street pop singer. Army uncovers 11 illegal bunkering sites in 4 states. And those are the headlines for you this morning in the Nation newspaper.
On the Guardian newspaper, Lagos pledges continued support to MSMEs. Edo government PDP bicker over Tinubu's 2027 campaign billboards. Nothing to gain from declaration of state of emergency, according to this you'd find on the Guardian newspaper. And Iksan reiterates commitment to corporate governance, green energy.
Now to pick up Vanguard newspaper, it says Plateau, Benue killings, Governor Aliyah threatens Tinubu gives Mofwang marching orders as family of 8 wiped out. Anyone eyeing 2027 must be battle ready against Tinubu, Wike, and that's according to Dele Momodo. 2027, why our party won't join any coalition merger, and those are by PDP governors. Trump says US may attack Iran's nuclear facilities, and those are the headlines this morning on the Vanguard newspapers.
Well, to the Daily Trust newspaper, 4 trillion naira federal government debt. Blackout looms nationwide as Gencos threaten shutdown. Despite decline, Nigeria's oil production tops Africa's chart in March. This is according to OPEC. A gunman abduct worshippers on Lokoja Mountain. Who is behind the latest attacks in Plateau State? Well, you'd find that on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Absolutely. Do well to call us on 07000 917 917 09155 917 917. If you're female, the line is absolutely free for you. You can call us on 0800 1235 917. And you can also leave us a text or a WhatsApp message on 08155 917 917. We'll have a call coming through. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, good morning. This is West of Taraba.
Okay. Glad to have you join us. Good morning. Let's have your thoughts.
Yeah, good morning. I want to talk about Donald Trump threatening to burn down Ukraine. Is it Ukraine or is it which place? Nuclear facility. You know, this Donald Trump that we are talking about, if to say this man will last for 8 years, I think we are going to have like third world war. Because if you see the problem that this man is having is causing for America is even more than what is working for them. This man is a man who I need to call him like troublemaker. He wants just cause confusion in the whole world that may create into world war. But I pray that he's only going to last for only 4 years, and any movement that he tries to make. The American Senate are not like Nigeria Senate that can watch you do anything you want to do. So I know that if he tries to make any step, they will stop him from doing that. About Nigeria issue, Tinubu, Wahala, PDP, I don't want to talk about that. The only thing I can say is that we will see a PC in 2027, and we are going to use our voters card to do the right thing for them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. Do well to call us or send your text or WhatsApp messages to 07031 756 537. The female only line is 0800 1235 917. We'll be here to take your messages and, of course, to read out your messages. Okay, let's look at something now making the rounds in Punch newspaper, and that's federal government scrambles to avert Genco's shutdown over 4 trillion naira debt. Now, this news made the headlines regarding Genco's having debt which the federal government is yet to pay. I'll just read a part of the story just to give us context as to what that means. Minister of Power has pledged to address 4 trillion naira electricity debt owed by Gencos, which saw the electricity distribution companies threatening a shutdown on Monday. Now, weighing in on this development, the special advisor to the Power Minister, Bolaji Tunji, said the government is aware of the development and is making concrete steps to resolve the lingering issue. He said, as part of steps taken by the government, the Ministry of Finance will take charge of the payments very soon. Now, the media aide responding in a chat on Monday said they are unaware of the debts arising from the federal government's commitment on subsidy, and parts of the debts are legacy debts which were on ground before the Minister of Power assumed office. Now, the Minister of Power has repeatedly harped on these, saying that the implication of such debts to the operations of the various power sector stakeholders, especially for Gencos, is very alarming. The Minister of Power very much is concerned about this, and the issue is being discussed with the Ministry of Finance, making a case for how the debt must be paid. We expect the Ministry of Finance to take action on these as soon as possible, because we're looking at very imminent 23 power generation companies are warned that they can no longer guarantee a steady supply of power due to this worsening liquidity and this crisis we have in the power sector. Well, those are the details there regarding the Gencos, of Nigeria. That's the power sector having these debts being owed them. By the way, just for a breakdown and for explanation to people, the PHC, and that's the power sector in Nigeria, includes what we call the Gencos, the distribution company of Nigeria, also generating company of Nigeria, and also the processing arm. So we have these different arms making up the PHC, and now they have said that there is a debt and a looming crisis of power outage is going to happen if these debts are not paid. The question really is, I mean, why are we having these repeated issues when it comes to power generation in Nigeria? If you recall last year, it was a case of the grid collapsing every time. If it's not a national grid, for 2024 alone, I recall the national grid collapsed about 12 times. And yes, we heard the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, promising that the grid will not collapse again, that measures have been put in place. Although for this year, so far, it has collapsed twice. But now we have a situation on our hand, and there is a debt of 4 trillion naira being owed to Gencos. Let me know what you think about it, why we're having this recurring issue in the power sector. Do well to call us. It is 20 minutes to 8. You're tuning to Women Radio 91.7. Call us on 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. You can call us on the toll-free line for female only, 0800 1235 917. And also feel free to leave us your text or your WhatsApp message on 081 55 917 917 07031 756 537.
Well, we have joining us this morning our analyst Obideyi Olarinwaju Lobinko. Good morning to you, Lobinko.
All right. Good morning, Miracle. Good morning. How are you guys today?
We're doing good.
Fantastic.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you join us.
Oh, great. Always a pleasure and duty. Always a pleasure and duty.
All right.
Happy to be here. Let's do it.
Fantastic, Lobinko.
Well, let's take this call here as well. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Olayinka. I'm calling from Agege.
All right. Olayinka, where are you calling from?
Agege, Lagos.
Okay, you're welcome. All the way from Agege.
Thank you. I want to speak about a topic like this. This whatever. I really want to know what the money that consumers are spending. Where is this money going to? Well, but I can't understand. Because there are no more that stay in my house. Or on NEPA bill, whatever it is. I'm not sure that it's a video in this Nigeria that they don't pay NEPA bill. The federal government give them money. So is this money going to treasury to savings account? Is it not going to the schools? But because you cannot make this work going about the community, trying to disconnect you for not paying. So where is the money going to? As every time they tell you that they are doing this, they are doing this, they are doing this. Who is really going there? Is it for now of government? Let us to share that on this. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling. Do well to still call us. Let us have your thoughts on this. Let me go to our analyst, Lobinko. Now, the federal government has announced, as we know of it, it's owing both the electricity generation company, Gencos, and distribution companies, as well, Discos, over 4 trillion naira. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Labo, has also noted that more than 60% of the manufacturing firms have cut off connection from the national grid. And now what they do is engage in self-generation electricity. How do you think this move can impact viability of the energy sector, particularly in a time where they are in debt?
The fact remains the problem we have with electricity generation in Nigeria is simply corruption. And I will go back to our basics. Some 20 years ago, we were generating 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts. Today, we are still generating about that same amount of megawatts. And as of then, we had just one body. That we had only NEPA, you understand. NEPA had just one GMD, General Managing Director, and all of that. Today, on that same 5,000 megawatts, we have about 20 different companies now with their different GMDs. We have the Discos, we have the Gencos, still on the same. We are not talking about the efforts to generate more megawatt. I mean, the essence of creating these companies is to enlarge because the revenue generation for whatever body is the megawatts available. These megawatts are not increased, but we created jobs. It's just like you say, a job that ordinarily one person can do. Is it for magnanimity or because you want to settle the boys? You tell 200 or 20 people to do it. At the end of the day, the output of that job, you will realize that because the yardstick for you to even measure the individual is not there. It's minute. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like you give a university graduate a job of a primary school student, and the person does well, and you want that's the only problem we have when it comes to this electricity generation. And because there's not much generated megawatts, everybody is just scrambling on what to eat, and that is the exact reason why we are having the problem we have. Talking about the 4 trillion the government is owing, which is going to now bounce back on the people. In my house here, I'm not owing a dime. I pay all my bills. Does it now make sense that because somebody, the person giving the license to the operators is owing, I will go on blackout? Last week, for the whole of last week, I don't think we had up to 48 hours electricity here. But we just keep leaving the main issues and keep running around in circles. To tackle the problem of Nigeria is very easy and straightforward. But corruption won't allow us.
Now, Lobinko, this leads me to the next line of thoughts, which is talking about tackling the issues. Nigeria's power sector was privatized with the handing over of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, that's PHCN, to private investors in precisely November 2013. We understand this involved transferring ownership of 11 successor distribution companies, that's the Discos, and 6 generation companies, Gencos, to private investors. Now, the goal really was to improve efficiency, attract investment, of course, and of course, enhance electricity supply. But I don't, from the look of things, the privatization of the sector has been met with challenges. So, despite privatization, why do we still have these challenges or this issue of debt, even issues of epileptic power supply?
That's what I've just said. Corruption. Even the privatization itself is corruption based. When you look at bodies that are not connected to the national grid, they probably don't have these issues we are talking about. There are bodies in Nigeria that build their own grids. That you understand what I mean? They find their own alternatives. They don't have these issues. How do they do it? Readily coming to mind is what's the name of Redemption Camp? Yeah, very close to us. They generate their power. They do all their things themselves. We are not having these issues. What's the essence of private? I mean, we said we are going to privatize because we felt there's an issue. And if there is anything, things have only gotten worse. And unfortunately, it's only Nigerians that are suffering it. Because these same companies, when it comes to distributing electricity to other countries that depend on Nigeria for electricity, based on their contracts, they don't fail. But because there is job for the boys, that's why everything is. I mean, when things fail, and then there's someone to be held responsible, someone pays the price for that failure. You will see that failure will be mitigated. But here we just keep talking, going around the circle. The national grid that collapsed 12 times last year. Did any head roll for it? The reason is simple: corruption. So, nothing more, corruption.
When you say corruption, Lubinko, I want to take you up on that. How can we begin to ensure transparency in the sector, ensure we have the right peg, the square pegs in the square hole, ensure we have the right people managing the helms of affairs of the power sector to ensure we have dividends of regular power supply to Nigerians?
The truth remains one of the issues we have in Nigeria is that, especially when it comes to governmental institutions, we have people manning posts not because they are qualified, but because they are favored. And I think that's the basis of it. And when someone who knows they are not qualified, who can't stand up to the person favoring them, is holding any position, it's just it's not about the service that institution requires. It's more about payback to the person who gave you that favor. And that's the exact problem we have in Nigeria. Our politics, our institutions, it's not about the people. It's more about the benefactors who are giving the beneficiaries the opportunities. So rather than providing services for the people, it's about, look, there's the possibility that there are people in these agencies, in these institutions, that wants to raise questions. Well, because that's where they are also eating and all of that. Probably those they are reporting to will talk, what's your own problem? Is that why you are here? Before you know it, the circle continues. Irrespective of what we are saying, these dates we are talking about, don't be surprised that debt, the 4 trillion naira we are talking about, there's provision for it in the budget of the government. It is dispensed, or it has been dispensed, but then it goes somewhere. And wherever it had gone to, it can be traced, but it won't be traced. and then we come back to the same. I mean, there's no. Do you want to tell me there's any institution or organization? Is there any MD or any minister or who these things will come to their table? This is part of running costs, for God's sake. How long has this accumulated? Are you telling me there's no budgetary? I mean, at the beginning of every year, we have budgets. And these budgets are supposed to cover these expenses. So it's not like there's no money to pay this 4 trillion, if indeed it is being owed. But the fact remains, there's been budget for this 4 trillion. Probably, even the budget we are talking about could be times 3 of this same 4 trillion. But some people take it, eat it, swallow it, and all of that. And they know they would never be questioned because they have protection.
All right.
And that's why we are where we are.
All right, it is 7 minutes to 8. You're tuned in to Women Radio 91.7. My name is Adebola Adedugba. I'm here with my colleague,
Philip.
and we are reviewing the headlines making the rounds in the dailies in the newspapers. We have joining us live to talk about this issue we're looking at is our analyst, Olanrewaju Lobinko, and you can feel free to send us your WhatsApp or text messages. We have messages already, and this one says, "Good morning, dear presenters. The unfortunate continuous killings in Plateau is worrisome and a pointer to the ineffectiveness of the Nigerian security apparatus, which needs urgent attention than the usual praise singing over the pages of newspapers. We can't continue to watch Nigerians being killed on a daily basis with almost nothing being done to avert these unwarranted killings. Bad followers will never produce good leaders. Nigeria will survive. Allah bless Nigeria." And those are the words of Rosenji Olawale Mutiu from Alakbere.
Well, this is here from Olushoga Ajayi from Odonline Ikorodu. He says that was why democracy was not in danger in Rivers State, even when Fubara demolished the State House of Assembly and told members that they exist because he allowed them. NBA looked the other way in spite of serial disobedience of court's judgment by Fubara. Compromised NBA, the judiciary in Nigeria is on self-inflicted destruction.
This one says, "Hello Nigerians, good morning. Mr. Lobinko, sir. Please, I read on the papers of 3,000 slots for just Kaduna alone, and they gave Enugu 200 slots, the entire Enugu state. What kind of bell of marginalization and regional tribalism and unethical process of recruitment is that? The world can now see that Wike can go to any length to frustrate Fubara, a woman called Wike Fubara's master. We are yet to see the real darkness from Wike, Kurubu, and the Ibas, who went against the court order to be appointing sole administrators on the local government, while the court order was to release funds to democratically elected local government officials. Adebola, what do we have to say to the threatening message from Benue State Governor to Peter Obi? Why should a reverend father play such game?" And those are the words of Prince from Ogba.
Mayor from Ikotwegbe says, "I, Mayor, refuse to say good morning to anyone because nothing is good about this morning. When our brothers and sisters, including our children, are being killed on daily basis and the president is far away in France enjoying himself, how can a responsible father stay away from his family when his family are being murdered and all you hear is condemn, condemn, condemn? You can never give what you don't have. Nobody wins election with violence and expects peace in his or her regime. It is not possible. Wait a minute. I thought Plateau State voted for APC. How can someone use his or her votes to invite their own death? God forbid. Is this what you call governance? Is it a crime to be a Nigerian? Have we committed any crime against God that makes us to have wicked rulers and not leaders? APC may end democracy in Nigeria if not checkmated now."
All right, Lubinko, Just to get your reaction to any of those comments, if you like to react to them, it is 3 minutes to 8. You're tuning to Women Radio 91.7. If you'd like to respond to any of those comments made, please feel free to go ahead.
It's so unfortunate that under this current administration, democracy is being raised. And you know that wouldn't have been the case because some will say, they are not expressive. But considering the stance of this government, especially when it was an opposition, and the efforts played in the return to democracy, it bleeds the heart. It really bleeds the heart. We are in a country now not operating on the delivery of governance, but everything about the country right now is geared only to playing of politics. And like in politics, Pol 101, when we were at the university, we learned that politics is about getting what you want however you can. And it seems that's just all that matters in the current polity of Nigeria. It's all about, will this thing politically favor me? If it's not going to politically favor me, it doesn't matter whether the whole country perishes. You look at what's going on in Benue State, you look at what's going on in Plateau State. Our president has been on a working visit, 14 days working visit. We've not seen one video of him on a working. You understand what I mean? I mean, working visit means there should be a series of engagement lined up. But we keep living the lie, and the purveyors and media machinations of the current government. The dangers are very visible. It's very loud. It's very obvious to anyone that decides to see. But probably because some people are not affected, they decide to keep quiet. Benue is boiling, Plateau is boiling, Rivers is boiling. The north is there, banditry and all of that. The roads are not safe, but yet all we look at is political calculations, political permutations. And as long as we think it favors us, we keep quiet. Nigeria will be great.
Indeed.
Well, we also have this comment here. It's also coming in from Barrister Ugo Osuji from Festac. It says, good morning, WFM, Adebola, Miracle Philip, and our analyst, Olarinwaju Lubinko, my man. 2027 PDP governors refused Atiku Abubakar's desires for a measure to have a formidable opposition party to challenge the ruling party. Sounds infantile effluvium. Could the PDP and Labour Party do it on solo business? Hence, power contestations may be elusive in 2027 as votes don't count in Nigeria anymore. Where is the place of Nyesom Wike FCT minister and emperor in this PDP game plan? Or is he still playing the spoiler game and aligning with the ruling party as a mole? When will these little Caesars strutting the corridors of power in Nigeria know that there is life after power? What is happening in Rivers State as different women groups contest against and pro the declaration of state emergency? That the Nigeria police were dispersing pro-Fubara women protesters and protecting women protesters supporting a state of emergency is reminiscent of what Pro's book, A Walk in the Night by Alex Laguma, while highlighting events of the apartheid regime and role of the police then in South Africa. Are those faceless women supporting state of emergency in River State to have factored the fate of their future generations and servile continuity? Alas, the governor of Benue State, Alia, is barring Peter Obi, former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, from visiting Benue to see the poverty-stricken children who are now orphans of storm, courtesy of the uncalled killings by terrorists. Is the governor of Benue State not sharing the same Catholic Church Christian Catholic faith with Peter Obi? How old was the governor of Benue State during the Nigeria Biafra War to have seen the humanitarian roles of the International Red Cross and Caritas organization? Benue State governor had set a bad precedent that Nigerians must watch, as this may be replicated during the electoral year 2027, as some state governors may not allow other political parties to campaign in their states. Be it known that Peter Obi had been visiting states bedeviled by terrorist killings, to wit, Plateau State, donating relief materials and money. If this evil is allowed and it seeps into the polity, then Nigerians and Nigeria is gone. Well, we're not hoping that Nigeria or Nigerians will be gone. That's why we're having to have these important conversations as much as we can right here on the newspaper review.
Absolutely. Do well to leave us your thoughts. Let us know what you think about these headlines making the rounds in the dailies. You can call us on 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. We have a call. Good morning, your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, my sister in the studio.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
My name is Jeremy. Alpha Jeremy from Kitchen.
All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah. So I want to advise Nigeria, they should not worry about our GDP governor decision. They're already feeling that fast. Everybody knows their game. If they know, can't PDP alone at this time around can win election alone in this country? What did it happen grassroots? If they are refusing, they can't join coalition with any other party. They don't know their game. Let them do what they want to do. I know that God Almighty will rescue Nigeria out of bad leadership in this country. You say Atiku were pleased to adopt a petition of President this time. The time is not wrong for him at all. He should make sure that he look a very good party to support to rescue Nigeria from all these problems. He can't win election in this country. It's not saying that this thing. So he should write his name in good record. Forget President Abisa this time around. Can't the Southern the Northern State when the Southern have 8 years to rule? Why he can't support any candidate come to South and make sure they defeat up on if government we are passing through now? Peter said they can't join with any other party. What can PD have now to win election in this country? With their own rubbish they have already done for this country. Instead to redeem and join position with any party can rescue, they say they can't join with anybody. If they are not joined, can they have any power to win the election in this country now? So God will save this country. Let us vote. I know that God Almighty will rescue this country. No matter what those evil politicians do for us in this country, God will save us. No way. God will save us. Let us wait and see 27 election. God will save Nigeria. Like God will save Nigeria for the group of enemy of politicians who are not dumping us and do us like an animal in the nation. And we are good so that we have a lot of resources to survive. We are living property in the middle of surplus. Thank you, my sister. God will save Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much for calling this morning all the way from K2. If you've just tuned in, this is still the newspaper review on your Women Radio 91.7, 5 minutes after 8. I am Miracle Philip and I have with me
Adebola Adeduba.
And of course, our analyst this morning, Obideyi Olaranwaju Lobinko. We'll take a look at another headline. This up from the Vanguard newspaper. It reads, Plateau, Benue killings. Governor Aliye threatens. Tinubu gives Mufwang matching orders as family of 8 wiped out. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has given marching orders to Plateau State Governor Caleb Mufwang to summon the necessary political will to resolve the crisis in the state and establish enduring peace. Also yesterday, Governor Yacine Aliye of Benue State warned that he cannot guarantee the safety of any person or group coming to the state without his knowledge. The president's order came as a family of 8 was wiped out after no fewer than 52 persons were confirmed killed and property razed in a fresh Sunday night attack on Zike Hamlet in Kimankwa community at Kwal District, Irigwa Chieftain of Basta local government area of Plateau State. This came as troops of the Nigerian army rescued 18 16 victims earlier kidnapped in the area. This is even as Christian leaders in Plateau State are planning a protest over unending killings in the state. Giving the order yesterday, the president also expressed profound sorrow over recent bloodshed in the state. A statement by the presidential spokesman, Bayo Onanuga, stated that President Tinubu, who strongly condemned the violence, extended his sympathies to the governor, the state government, and the people of Plateau State. And in his call for harmony among the people of Plateau State, the president emphasized beyond religious and ethnic lines. Now, Lubinko, it's quite disturbing that, what conversations are being raised now are more of an attack on, Christian communities, on Christian individuals in Plateau State. And having to see this statement coming out from the president right now, a lot are already tired of getting to hear we condemn, like what we had with one of our newspaper review family members sharing his thoughts. We condemn. Can there be proper security measures put in place to protect individuals? The killings are becoming too much. It's already too much. We can't be losing lives almost every weekend, coming into the new week, and then within the week. It's disturbing.
First and foremost, um, because of the nature of our country, I won't want us to talk about whether Christians are being killed right now. Incidentally, Plateau State is more of a Christian state, as it were. So if there's efforts to annihilate the state, of course, that means because majority of those living there are Christians, that's what they will experience. You go to a place like Borno, for instance, where probably the population is more Muslim, and you realize that the majority of those will be. So I want us to take religion out of it and just look at the human factor, because at times these religious stories distract us from exactly what is really going on. The fact remains there's an effort, and it's obvious to everybody who wants to see the president giving the governor the go-ahead to muster all the political will. We know that is just a political statement, as it were, because when it comes to the control of the security apparatus, Nigeria, only the president controls that, and the whole security apparatus of the country is responsible to the federal government, not the state government. The federal government can easily even withdraw every security apparatus from the state if the federal government so wish. So that's why I'm saying that's a political statement. But that being said, the governor as the chief executive of the state can't just be laid back. In the southwest, for instance, especially in Ondo State, we've seen Amotekun doing a lot of making a lot of effort. Of course, they are restricted in the sense that there's a limitation to the hands they can carry and all of that. It's a very dire situation we have found ourselves in, and I think those who know how to pray, this is just the time to pray, because these things are not ordinary. There is a motive behind it. There is this pattern which is continuous. Today we are talking about Plateau and Benue. Tomorrow it could be Lagos and New York. Next, this thing is strategic, as it were. And those sponsoring it, like I was listening to the former general in the army, a video I was watching yesterday. Those sponsoring these things are these are intelligence that has been gathered over the years, more than 10, 15, 20 years ago, when these things were just starting out. according to what the person said, they did not start mentioning names on TV. I think it was on Channel 3. Kind of stuff. These people sponsoring these things, they're in Nassau Rock, they're in the government house, they're in the House of Assembly. But Nigeria will be great in my time. And all of a sudden, the wind will blow. I was reading about China, was it just some days ago. Some 30, 40 years ago, China was still one of the poorest countries in the world. Today, America, that used to boast of being the most powerful country, can probably say that confidently in the face of China. So that's to tell you that suddenly that wind will blow and then Nigeria will find its place in the of nations and we will take our right place. It's what happened in my life.
Indeed, yes, we do have messages coming through. We'll take your thoughts in a bit, Lubinko. Let's take messages here. And this one we have here says, "Good morning, crew. It's safe to say that Nigeria has turned to a gangster paradise, courtesy of this government. This is where the cash and carry INEC and judiciary has done for Nigeria. Look at the insecurity in the land. If you protest, they will quickly send police, army, and Agberos to stop your protest. Whereas, as you have bandits and Fulani headsmen killing people in Plateau, Ebonyi, Edo, Benue, Ondo, and the likes. You can't see such security to protect the people, but they are swift to condemn killings. That means government is complicit in all these killings and doesn't have the political will because of 2027 elections. Political gain as well. Also, police or army will capture the Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen and bandits. The government will say they have repented and they will put them back to the society. How will there be peace without justice? It's a shame. The worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. And those are the words of Dayo from Lagos State.
Well, Barrister Ogo Suji from Festag says that the presidency is giving the governor of Plateau State, Mufwang, a marching order to deal with killers in Plateau State. Such order is supposed to come from the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. By virtue of Section 218, the Constitution 1999 is amended with regards to commands of the Nigeria military. Is the APC government playing the ostrich game and now bedroom Napoleons that cannot show up in any simmering affray? Where is the place of Section 14, subsection 2b of the Constitution 1999? That ordained the federal government with the responsibility of securing the citizens and property. Plateau killing field, nay biblical Golgotha, must stop. Lobinko, you want to respond to this particular conversation right here because it just looks like trying to shift blame or trying to escape responsibility, which is actually expected of government, both at the federal and the state level.
That's exactly what I said earlier on. When you talk about the security apparatus of Nigeria, it's controlled by the federal government. I mean, if there's anybody that should be giving an order that this should stop right now, it's the federal government. It's very simple. I was listening to a poem by a young lady from Benue State. And I read another article last week of our SS3 student, I think in the same Benue State or Plateau State, I can't remember. Even from internal intelligence, the perpetrators of this act are known. So I want to believe that the perpetrators, the sponsors of this act, are well known. I mean, with the way I am now, I won't even think of buying an AK-47. I can't afford it. And you see peasants, people looking like peasants, carrying, brandishing abominations. Someone gives it to them. If you trace that information, where these things are coming from, these issues are solved forever. And nobody can solve it. Nobody has the authority, the power to solve it in Nigeria. He's the president. He controls the armed forces. He controls the security apparatuses. He can give that directly. I want this. General Abacha said it while he was alive. Unfortunately, it's so bad in Nigeria that our worst leaders in the past are always better than our present leaders. Very unfortunate. He said if insecurity or banditry or all those things, terrorism, lasts for more than 24 or 48 hours in the country, then no, it is the government sponsoring it. And that's a given in Nigeria. I mean, everything points to that. The intelligence gathered, two names are not mentioned. We hear they are in government, they are governors, they are in House of Assembly, they are in Council Rock and all of that. I want to believe that this information can also get to the table of the president and the right orders can be given. But then, I think politics, we just keep playing politics. Now, someone who is known to have always exhibited the passion to take care of the helpless, in the name of politics now, is being bad. From even going to give minimum support or minimal support to those affected. Peter Obi is someone, even before he contested for president, he went as far as going to IT when he had issues. These things are in the public domain. It's not about wanting. So, I mean, even let's assume it's even for politics. But these people need this help right now. You are not offering them that help. Someone is coming and in the name of politics, no, we can't continue this way. Nigeria will be great in my time.
Indeed, Nigeria will be great again, and we must keep that hope alive, that aspiration to see that our dear country, Nigeria, is indeed great again. It is 41 minutes to 9. You're tuned to Women Radio 91.7, and my name is Adibola Adiduba here with
Miracle Philip. We'll take the score here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my studio. My name is Afa West from Petri.
Okay, you're welcome back.
Mr. One last speaker spoke about the religion issue. Those people, can we continue to protect religion, say that they are key Christians in some area? It's only Christians that are key left in this country today. We, those who call ourselves religion, can religion help us in this country today? And we behave like a Muslim and Christian in this way with what is happening? Because I know all what is happening there is within Christian and Muslim. If the other words, we are all saying we are protect religion. Why can't we protect the life? Instead to say that they are Christians, instead to say Christians they are killing. How can we attach religion with what's going in Nigeria now, for God's sake? What type of society we are belonging to? Let us save our life. This one is not a religion. Those with the power, are they behave like a Christian? Are they behave like a Muslim? Why we defend some say some Christian? They right to the defense of people to America to the Trump that they are killing Muslims in Nigeria, some part of the Kaduna or something like that. It's not the Christians are killing here. Our leader is God. Are they not that they representing God? Who said the leader to protect the life of citizens? Our leaders want that evil. With what happened in this country now. Please, forget the data about of what. Let us work out to that. With last speaker said that let us protect the life. The life in Nigeria is one every day because of this bad leader. Yes, 65 years old, for God's sake. We are in trouble. We are in 78. Oh my God. Anyway, God will save this country. It's so bad in history. And the leader behave like a senseless people.
All right. Thank you very much, Aqua West, for calling. Really emphasizing the fact that it goes beyond religion, because I got to see, people were trying to stoke that up on social media. It's a Christian thing. They're killing more Christians and they're killing Muslims. But the fact is that the issues are affecting both Christians and Muslims. And we are having to deal with all of the policies and the back and forth as humans first, before ethnic divides and also religious divides as well.
Absolutely, Miracle. I know we may get emotional with a conversation like this. May I implore our callers. So please keep your language very civil and decent while you
Mm,
try to express yourself.
mm.
Okay, we have, just to remind you that we have something very, very significant coming up today. And
Absolutely.
yes, His Royal Majesty Obade Dotun Gbadebo Okwekeno the Fourth Dialake, who is the paramount ruler of Egba land, hosts the first ever, none like it before. Yeah, they is the first ever historic gathering of men only town hall meeting with His Excellency Governor Dakbo Abiodun, who is the governor, of course, of Ogun State, as the special guest of honor. Now, these monumental, groundbreaking, men only town hall meeting brings together the custodians of our culture to talk about the pivotal role, the very, very fundamental role men play. And of course, we're Women Radio, the station for women only, and of course, their loved one. And this event is a gathering of men only to talk about that very fundamental role men play when it comes to protection of women and girls, and also fostering stronger family and community bonds. The event is happening today, which is April 15th, 2025, of course. The time this event starts is 11 a.m. prompt,
Mm.
no African time in Miracle,
Yeah.
And then, of course, the venue, in case you're wondering, is Adire Hall. Adire Hall, which is at the Alake's Palace in.
It's strictly by
Of
invitation.
course, of course, of course, of course, and then it's at the Rail Hall, which is at Alake's Palace in Abeokuta. And this event, really, is proudly initiated by Women Radio, of course, 91.7.
Mm. Yes, and I just want to bring this to Lobinko as well.
Mm.
I mean, it has become very important that in protecting women,
Mm-hmm,
in
mm-hmm.
protecting girls, we
Yes,
involve our royal fathers to be
yes.
part and parcel of these conversations
Mm-hmm,
because they hold a, just like the caller said, our leaders are like they're acting in the place of God, and so whatever they are portraying in the society in their leadership roles also would determine how the community and how the society, is being run. And I'm glad that we are having this
mm-hmm.
come up, Lubinko. I mean, what do you think about this too?
This is absolutely fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. And we should encourage more of that.
Mm.
Yes, we're talking about the girl child right now. But we should also be talking about, the women now. We should be talking about the rights of the children and all of that. It's good. I mean, kudos to WFM.
Mm-hmm. And indeed, Miracle, just to add, chip in there to what you have said about traditional rulers, the role they play when it comes to leading the people right. In terms of now, uh, being the custodians of our culture, particularly discussing conversation around fostering, the safety of the girl or the woman. Opinion leaders, in no small measure, have a huge impact on their
Yes.
people. Many times, people depend or rely on information from the opinion leaders, as we know of it to be in this setting now, the traditional rulers, the obas, the kings, the emirs, and the like. And this indeed is one way to drive home that message that men are very, very strategic. They're very, very pivotal when it comes to fostering community bonds as well as protecting the rights of women and girls in our society.
I'm really glad for what Women Radio is having to do,
Yes.
ably supported by the Voice of Women Empowerment
Mm-hmm.
Foundation as well as Ford Foundation. The first ever
Mm-hmm.
historic men-only town hall meeting
Mm-hmm.
hosted by His Royal Majesty Oba Adedotun Badebo Okukenu the Fourth,
Yes.
Alake, and paramount ruler of Egbaland.
And we'll be bringing you details of that, of how that event unfolds, the very
Absolutely.
striking conversation being held there, those speaking there, the commitments they have made so far in the course of this event to protecting the girl child and, of course, the female folk in general. We'll bring you all of that update as this event unfolds today.
Well, this is actually also where we get to bring it to a close right here on the newspaper review. We've got this message here from Rosendia Olawale Michi from Alakwere. Says, "Good morning, dear presenters. The rally for and rally against the state of emergency in Rivers shows how one can easily sway Nigerians with money, even when the cause is anti-people. Should the federal government have allowed the lawlessness going in rivers between the executive and legislature continue unchecked and then degenerate to total lawlessness and burn up the state. When parents are worshipping money, don't expect less of the children. Just like bad parents will not produce good children, so will bad followers never produce good leaders. Nigeria will survive. Allah bless Nigeria.
Okay, this one says, Good morning, crew. In the absence of the rule of law, impunity and chaos abounds for the state of emergency of rivers. Your president didn't do it in the north where bandits and Boko Haram are having their way, but he declared it in a peaceful state in NSAS time. There was no state of emergency in any parts of the country. Then you can see this is scripted. Even your rubber stamp Senate voted for it. Also, there was peaceful protest in Rivers last week. The sole administrator sent police to intimidate and tear gas the people from protesting. Whereas yesterday, Wike sent his counter protest. No police intimidation, no tear gas, you can see. This government loves to create chaos, lawlessness, and impunity. Case study: End SARS and end bad governance protests. How will there be peace without justice? It's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. Those are the impressions of Dayo from Lagos State.
Yes, and finally from OK Monday says, Good morning, WFM. I want an American President Donald Trump to use the same power Nigeria's President Tinubu used to remove former elected governor of Rivers State from office to remove him too. So the case will be 50-50. Do me, I do you. Well, okay, Monday, that's just your perspective all the way from Arikpo this morning. Nigeria is a sovereign state, and definitely we get to see that the elections do their bid in deciding who actually stays put as president or not. Well, thank you so much, Obideyi Olarinwaju Lubinko, for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Miracle, for having me. But thank you. It's always a pleasure being with us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nigerians, for listening to us as well.
Thank you. Well, coming up at 9 will be the news at 9, and at 9:05 will be Panorama. It's always a pleasure to get to do this with you. 7:30 we'll be back tomorrow as well as we get to delve into the papers. I know oftentimes we hope to see better news stories, stories that actually rear up within us some level of hope.
Absolutely.
And yes, we'll keep hope alive, really.
We'll keep hope alive. We'll keep talking about it. We can't get talking about these issues. We'll keep talking about it. There's what they call the bullet effect theory. The more you talk about it, the more it settles in, the more it resonates with you till a change is made. So yes, we'll keep talking about these issues. Hopefully, we know one day a change will be made.
Yes, and Nigeria is our country, it's a nation, and we will not stop hoping for this country to be better and better.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Adebola, for joining me today.
It's my pleasure, like they say.
I am Miracle Philip.
And I am Adebola Adeduba. Good morning.
If you love us, like us.
And if you don't love us, like us.
It's facebook.com/
WFM917. If you want to see what we look like,
we slay.
Subscribe.